Hi, it is just after midnight on a Friday night, technically Saturday now. It is October 15th, and it's been almost a month since the last video that I posted. And as usual, when this has happened in the past, which has been several times now for this channel, maybe more than several, I've been struggling to make videos for a number of reasons. And I was just sitting here and I found this message that somebody from my past sent me, and it filled my heart with so much joy. And it connected me with the place where I finally felt ready to make a video. I have been struggling with the desire to make videos for this channel for the past month or 3 weeks, however long it's been. And it's so tough for me because, as I've explained in the past, I don't like doing things unless I want to do them. And that's just like a huge part of how I've structured my life. But I also struggle with guilt of letting people down. And one thing that's been coming up so much for me this year especially is this battle between what I want to do, what I feel like I should do, and communicating where I'm at. Communication has been a huge theme of this year for me. I often struggle to communicate what's going on with me. And I've mentioned that plenty of times, but that's just to give you a little background, because I really like to fill you in. I know that I don't owe any of you guys an apology or an explanation, but I feel like you guys are friends of mine, and I struggle communicating with my actual friends. Well, that just diminished who you are, but you know what I mean, like my close friends that I talk to all the time and one-on-one, very personal. Sometimes it's hard for me to communicate with them too. So this is nothing personal to this channel or any of you watching out there. As you can see, well, some of you may recognize the background. I'm currently cat sitting for Jason at this moment, and so much has happened in the past month. I actually have a ton of videos to edit, so I'm not going to go too much into detail yet. I wanted to get this video out right away. I actually feel really inspired right now to edit, so I actually might go edit at least one vlog and put that up. And I don't know where this video is going to fall in that timeline at the moment, but I doubt that. I kind of want to put this one up right away. And well, I think that I'll eventually want to do like another video like this to kind of clue you guys more in once you've seen all the footage that I did shoot. But I did stop filming probably 3 weeks ago, maybe a little less. And as you'll see, there's a reason for that. A number of things have happened. One is very, very evident, which some of you may or may not have known from social media. Again, I'm trying not to spoil anything. And that was a really tough thing that I went through. And then there's another big thing that I went through personally that I'm not going to discuss in video, at least not now. And it's the second time it's happened this year, and you know, I've had a kind of a emotional roller coaster on a personal level. And I want to be transparent. I want to share so much about my life, but I've also had a few instances where I've been very transparent and then some weird things have happened, whether it's criticism, which you know I struggle with, or like creepy stuff, like people knowing a little bit too much about my life. And yeah, some creepy stuff has happened as a result of me sharing details of my life. And so it's gotten me like a little skittish about how much I share, which is really a shame, to be honest, because the whole point of this channel for me is to just be fully myself and be transparent. It's just a shame that, you know, you can't always predict or control how people are going to act. And not everybody has healthy responses to information that they learn online, as is evidenced so much all over the place online. And anyways, and it's just a shame for those of you who I have a great online relationship with, who really respect my personal boundaries and are are kind of emotionally sound and stable. So, I've talked about Eco Vegan Pal a number of times, and that was a project that I really wanted to work on while I was on the East Coast, but it didn't happen. And I just don't know when that project is going to happen or what form it's going to take at this point because I've had a lot of other priorities. But what I keep coming back to, the desire with Eco Vegan Pal, is to have a safe space to connect with people. Like, one element of Eco Vegan Pal that I'd love to have is kind of to like vet people, meaning like I would know I could give out information to certain people in there, like almost like a background check, if that makes sense. Because yeah, I just have this dream of being able to connect with those of you who I really do feel strong bonds with. I mean, there are some of you out there who I know by name. There's at least one of you whose home I've been to before. I mean, I've had incredible relationships with people that I've met through this YouTube channel, and you're the ones that make me want to just share everything that's going on in my life. So, I don't know. One day I'll figure out a way to connect with you guys in a safe space, and then just share whatever, like we're really, really close friends. Yeah, I ended up spending almost exactly 5 weeks on the East Coast, and again, you'll see why the trip got extended a little bit, and then things just got thrown off. And I've been back about a week and a half in Los Angeles, and it's been interesting too. For me, the emotional roller coaster of things that have happened in the past couple months and this year in general have caused me to do a lot of inner work. And I know that's been a reoccurring theme, and I just feel like I'm continuously growing and I'm being pulled in a lot of directions. And one thing that I was reading a lot about and hearing advice on was just like, when you go through really challenging times of emotional suffering, emotional pain, it's really a good thing. And that's something that people say a lot is, oh, well, I know this hurts, but this is just going to help you grow. And we can get really down and just what's the word I'm looking, wallow, is that the word I'm looking for, in the pain. But if we look at the pain and the suffering in our lives from whatever conditions we're going through, and just try to ask ourselves, what is the lesson here? That is something that I've been doing a lot, and it's been so hard. But one of the lessons is that I feel like there has to be a purpose behind all of our experiences, and that's part of really experiencing life to the fullest, is just saying, like, I'm not just a person that's here on earth for no reason at all. I'm here with some sort of greater purpose. There's something about my life that's meant to help the world in some way. And for me, what I continuously come back to is that I think that part of my role in this life is to help reduce suffering of other people and other animals and the earth. And that's like the huge motivation behind all of the work that I do, is how can I not only do less harm as myself as a human being, but teach other people to do less harm and to heal other people and anything alive around this world. And that has come in many shapes and forms with my work. That has come in, the veganism and helping people eat better, helping people take better care of animals and take better care of the earth. But another thing that just keeps growing and growing is the emotional side of it. And oftentimes when I'm going through a challenging time, when I'm feeling like I'm suffering emotionally, something that comes up a lot is like, I am not only going to grow myself as a person, but I'm learning lessons so that I can help other people when they're suffering too. And this actually came up in a really great book that I read, which name I don't know fully offhand. Let me look it up. It's by Pema Chodron, I think is how you pronounce her name. She's a well-known Buddhist, and she's written a number of books. I have read one so far, and one of my biggest takeaways from this book, which name I'm looking up, it's called like hold on, let me see. My computer's a little slow. Uncertainty, fear, I need to figure out how to pronounce her name properly because I always get like a little insecure whenever I say it. I want to get it right. Comfortable with uncertainty. 108 teachings on, I think it's 108 teachings on cultivating fearlessness and compassion. If I remember, I will put that link in the description field for you guys. It's a really nice book. I read it in like a couple hours. It's very, very quick. Each page is a new teaching. It kind of reminds me of Miracles Now by Gabrielle Bernstein, which I loved, and a similar format. But anyways, one of my big takeaways from this book was that oftentimes when we're suffering, the purpose of that is so that we can have compassion for other people who are suffering. And it's really hard for us to have compassion when we don't know what it's like to feel something. And so that's part of like the service. Like this has come up a number of times this year through your comments on my videos and also through my own realization through the work that I do on myself, is that one of the greatest things that we can do in this world to make a difference is to serve others, to be in service. And I started looking for more ways to be in service beyond just the work that I do with Eco Vegan Gal and my other projects. And I feel like that just keeps coming up. Like anytime I'm like really struggling, I think like there's got to be something within this that I can apply to help other people. Because the selfish thing to do would be to, first of all, sit around and feel bad for myself and just sit around in misery. Now, sometimes it's really hard to pull yourself out of those feelings. I mean, I am so glad to be out of a lot of the despair I was feeling for at least a month. I mean, there were days where I was just deeply, deeply just struggling, like feeling so emotionally in pain. And those times make it hard to do anything. Those times make it hard to think positively. Those times make it hard to really figure out what's best for you. Like sometimes you just have to sit with it, and that in itself is painful. You know, you want to escape it. And it's like I can understand the desire that people have to do things that aren't very good for themselves. Like often it's easy to turn to drugs and alcohol, for example, to escape emotions. It's easy to try to block emotions and try to like mentally manipulate yourself to work through that. And, you know, I've tried a variety of those things to kind of escape. But at the end of the day, I found that like there is no escaping. And actually another book that I'm reading now, you know me, I'm always reading books. It's over there on the bed, or not the bed, but the couch. I'm not going to get up and, oh, okay, fine, I'll get up and get it. Why not? I'm being lazy. This is the book that I'm reading right now. It's Marianne Williamson's Tears to Triumph. And it's really about a lot of these things that I'm talking about right now. And one of the things that she says in this book is something that is just escaping my mind. How to articulate it? Oh, I think it was about just, oh yeah, okay, here it is. The chapter that I just finished was about how easy it is to prescribe drugs like antidepressants to people when they're feeling depressed. And she said that a lot of the times drugs are really not going to help because what people are depressed about is just deep inner pain and suffering. And that's what really needs to be healed. Now, sometimes, of course, there's something chemical going on in the body or that's requiring some sort of a medical intervention. But this reminded me of my own experiences when I was in college. I got my freshman year of college, I felt like I was depressed. And I was struggling with that same deep pain that I just experienced over this past month or so. And so I think part of the reason that the pain hurts the way it does is because it's familiar. And there's that, like, when something's familiar, you're, especially when a pain's familiar, like, oh my gosh, not this again. And so I think back to that time my freshman year where I just, like, I felt like I wanted to tear my skin off. And that's something else I experienced in this past month of, like, I was, like, uncomfortable in my own skin. I just didn't want to be myself, if that makes sense. Anyone who's gone through this will probably be able to relate to what I'm expressing here. So anyways, that's what led me to go to see a psychiatrist. And going to the psychiatrist was awesome. That's when I identified my eating disorder and worked through that. That was a huge part of my recovery from my eating disorder. And that's also where I started to learn some of the emotional reasons and the historical reasons behind my emotional pain. But that psychiatrist also prescribed me drugs, and I went on antidepressants for at least a few months. And I was desperate. I was hoping that there would be this simple solution that, this pill I could pop in that would make me feel better instantly. And it didn't. And eventually I recognized that, and I switched over to natural, like St. John's wort or something. And then I eventually stopped that too. And I was trying to uncover a lot of the pain. And, I think it's still there. I think that's part of why I went through what I went through in the past month or two, and I'm still working on it, is clearly there's more work to be done. And maybe there's always going to be work to be done, unfortunately. That's something else Marianne talks about in this book. And all these teachers talk about is, like, our work is never done. And it's weird to me, the more that I get into this, it's weird to me because I feel like I've been misled in my life, and maybe you can relate to this too, is I feel like I was raised thinking that the work would eventually be done. I think as we grow up, we think, all right, like, if I get here, if I get to this age, or if I get to this point in my career, if I get this relationship, everything's going to be wonderful. And the older I get, the more I realize that's not the case. And the more people you meet and you see, oh, they've got everything, but they're still struggling with this or that. It's kind of a sad thing, because if you were raised with that idea in your head that somehow you could overcome something, you could fix something, you could achieve something, and that would make everything okay, it's really kind of sad when you realize that's not really the case in life. And so one thing that I'm working on comprehending is, like, how do I find that peacefulness, knowing that there is uncertainty and there is discomfort, and there's always going to be some sort of level of pain and suffering and all these things going on, and the work is just never done. That I have to work on accepting that. And there's a lot of work to be done. And I want to share this journey with you guys, is also part of my point. I know that you're there for me, and I know that you want to be part of this journey. It's just sometimes when I'm going through these hard times in my life, I don't want to pick up the camera and record. But when I have a moment like I did before I started recording this one, that moment of pure joy and gratitude that I experienced just from that simple note that I received, and how that triggered me to want to record this video, that to me is like a miracle. That is so beautiful, those moments. And that's why I knew I had to seize the opportunity. I didn't know what I was going to talk about here. I have 3 cats around me right now. I wish I had a camera that I could, like a 360 camera would be really handy right now. I have to show you guys these. So this is Figaro. This is brother Lynx. This is their sister Claudia. Jason likes to say that we co-parent these cats, because I was with him when he got all 3 of them. 2 of them are siblings, and one of them we found on the street once. And so these cats are a huge part of my life. And then Evie is in the background, passed out. right there. So, yeah, anyways, gosh, there's so much to share, and I feel like that is a really good place to start as a little summary. I think I'm gonna go edit the video because the next video, I wish I had released it a lot earlier, like right after it happened, because this video brings me so much joy, and it's about that band One Republic, and I kind of left you guys hanging. I think the last video I posted was me saying like I might go to the One Republic concert, so you'll get to see what happened. I do just have to say that for some reason their music has played such a huge role in my life, and I don't really know why. I don't know if it's just the right music at the right time, but something that I'm trying to tune into is like, what are the reasons that specific things happen? Like, when something big or significant happens, it just has this meaningfulness in your life. You just I like to step back and say, I wonder why that is. But this is also a great opportunity to let you know that lately I'm realizing I might need, or I might benefit from asking why less. That has been a lesson that's come up a lot in the past 2 months. And I think I'm someone that has a natural tendency to ask why and want to dissect and analyze things and understand them. But I think something that could help me out a lot in my life is to have more acceptance and just to observe things versus trying to figure out why they're happening. I still like to ask why, but there might not always be an answer. Like, I don't know why One Republic's music, to me it's so interesting because I heard one of their songs called Kids at the end of August before I went on my East Coast trip, and I couldn't get enough of that song. I was so into it. And then I went out of town and I was thinking like, oh, it'd be so cool to see them in concert. And then they came to Boston, and you'll see that whole video about that. But then like all these little weird things have happened. When I was in Baltimore, I was driving back at a 20-minute drive from one part of Baltimore to another, and I was in the car with my friends, and my friend randomly turned on the radio. Normally I always listen to like Spotify on my iPhone, but this time my friend wanted to listen to the radio, and he just happened to tune into a live broadcast of a One Republic concert, and I was just blown away by that because I had also, well, anyways, there's another reason why, but I don't know, it was like one of those moments, and then like I just got so attached to their album when it came out, their new album. I don't know if I've loved an album as much as this one in a very, very long time. I have been listening to it every single day since it came out. It came out a week ago. It's called Oh My, I think is what it's called. And I'm just so hooked. So hooked. I can't even, and if any of you guys feel this way, please let me know, because I'm like looking for other people that I could be like, don't you love this too? But no one else I know loves this album as much as I do. At least I don't know of anybody that does. So if any of you guys can relate to it, or if you end up listening to the album because of my recommendation, let me know. I'm 100% going to their concert when they tour for this album, because I can't get enough of it. I'm like looking up live performances of theirs and just like, I don't know what it is. I haven't been touched by music like this in a very long time. And I'm just kind of surprised that it's One Republic for some reason, but I'm just so into it. Oh, and I should let you guys know that Bernie is doing really well. I don't remember if I talked about it in any of the videos that I'm going to edit, but just in case, because I know a number of you wanted an update on him, he's still at my parents' place. And today, my mom posted a picture of him very enthusiastically, and my sister's been like really into him. It was kind of like, I got this rabbit, and no one really cared about the rabbit. They were all like, oh, he's cute, whatever. And then when we decided that we weren't going to bring him back to the farm, who, by the way, never called us or checked in on us, and now I take partial responsibility for not calling them and checking in with them, but I just kind of felt, for a number of reasons, like Bernie should not go back to that place, and I just didn't feel indebted to call them. I don't know. I feel a little guilt about that, to be honest. Maybe if you guys have an opinion on it, but I'm pretty sure my mom gave them our information, so they could have reached out. I don't know. That's neither here nor there. I just feel like universally there was a reason that I stumbled upon Bernie that night. And so anyways, my friend Sarah was supposed to come and pick him up, and things just kept getting in the way of her coming to pick up Bernie. And then my sister got really attached to him, and now my mom seems to be accepting of him so much so that she's like posting a picture of him on Facebook. So now I'm kind of hoping that my family keeps him. But the challenge is that it gets really cold in Massachusetts, and we don't have like an official setup for him. And my sister and my mom both go to Florida for like 4 to 6 months out of the year. And my dad doesn't love taking care of animals. So it's kind of like, I don't know what would happen. Like, I don't know if it's the right fit for him to stay there, but selfishly, like, I love this rabbit, and it feels like he's been this beautiful asset of our family. I just hope that wherever he ends up, whether it's staying with my family in some capacity or going to my friend Sarah's place, that it's just in his best interests, because he is a very, very special animal. And there's, another reason. He's another one of those mysteries of like, why did he come into my life? So I feel like he has some special significance to him, and he's just so darn cute. Oh my gosh. Like, I love that I know exactly what it's like to hold him and feel him, and like I have such a great like sensory memory of him, and I miss that guy a lot. So that's the Bernie update, and that's a bit of an update on my life. I know it's kind of vague, but I'm going to go off and edit the video now. Thank you all so much for your patience. And, I wish I had some sort of way to, like, let you guys know when I was going through an emotional funk. But the trouble is that sometimes I just hit these walls where even uploading the simplest video is incredibly challenging for me. And so I just go dark because it's so hard. And I'm always there on social media, so you guys can reach out to me on social media and ask me what's going on. Sometimes I answer emails and things like that, but Snapchat's very easy to communicate with me on. Instagram, sometimes Facebook and Twitter too. So I'm there. You can find me. You can see what's going on if I'm not posting videos regularly. But I hope to get back into the swing of things and hopefully finish editing all of the videos I recorded. And that's it for today. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys very soon.